Hello, K-Tito, and welcome to I'm Making Mommy Play Blackmoor Manor with me. I hope you enjoy this.
Welcome to my latest case, The Curse of Blackmoor Manor. To start, choose Junior or Senior Detective. If you're new to adventure games or need some help,
really not
choose
new,
Gameplay
but I'm still
Overview.
picking Junior Detective. Yay, Junior Detective!
Dear Ned, greetings from jolly old England. Although right now I'm not so sure about the jolly part. That's because I'm on my way to Blackmoor Manor, where the daughter of one of our neighbors is living. The daughter, whose name is Linda, recently married Hugh Penbelin, a British diplomat. Hugh travels a lot, so the only people at the manor with Linda are Hugh's aunt, Mrs. Drake, and Hugh's 12-year-old daughter, Jane. The thing is, ever since Linda moved into the manor, her health has gone downhill. She's practically bedridden, and no one seems to know why. Her mother is convinced something is terribly wrong and wants me to find out what. So here I am, about to be dropped off at a huge centuries-old mansion in the middle of a dark, foggy moor. I can't tell whether the butterflies in my stomach are because I'm excited or just a tad creeped out. Talk to you soon. I hope. Nancy.
Night, miss. Good luck.
Well, why can't she show up during the daytime? Because it's kind of spooky. Nancy, next time show up in the daylight. Come on.
Nancy. Who's there? Hello? There's something out there!
Where, child?
Over there! I mean, something was out there.
Come in.
No, isn't she just all, happiness and sunshine and lollipops and rainbows?
I'm Mrs. Drake. I take it you are Nancy Drew?
Yes, and I really did see something, Mrs. Drake. I heard something, too.
Oh, people are always seeing and hearing things on the moor at night. Especially you Americans. Why don't you just go on up to your room? It's the one with the moon on the door.
I'd like to see Linda, if I could.
I'm afraid Linda is not quite ready to
You
meet
said a little
with you just
moon
now.
on the door?
But please, come see me after you've unpacked. I'll be in the conservatory.
All right, thank you.
She likes to garden late at night. And the plants are sleeping. That's it? I can make it go for forever.
Oh, okay.
I just didn't see the need to. It's a puzzle box. We'll figure it out later.
Okay.
I just gotta look at it.
John Penbelin.
In a faraway place, beside a pond since gone dry, there lived a frog named Granny. Granny was content to live by himself and never ventured into the pond, for back then it was a fearsome place full of crocodiles that lurked beneath the surface, just waiting for a tasty little morsel like Granny to swim by. But one day a beautiful princess appeared on the other side of the pond. Like Granny, she was by herself, for she had been unfairly banished from her father's kingdom. Sometimes at night, Granny could hear her singing sad songs and talking to herself out of loneliness. He longed to swim across the pond so they could keep each other company, but he knew the crocodiles would eat him if he tried. So he sat on the shore, croaking mournfully into the moonlight, all alone. Then one day a kind-hearted water fairy appeared in the mist above the swamp that surrounded the pond, and told Granny that she would help him cross the pond so that he and the princess could be together in a very disgusting relationship. How? Granny asked. I cannot swim across, for the crocodiles are fast and fierce, and I have eaten more friends and relatives than I dare to count. Look, here's some symbols.
Oh, look at that. Water, earth, fire, air.
"You will not have to swim," the water fairy replied, "for I shall make a path for you. And don't forget, crocodiles tend to hide in the middle of the pond and near trees, and they hate boats." With that, a lily pad suddenly appeared in the pond in front of Granny. Although he was still afraid, he summoned his courage and hopped onto it. Then another lily pad appeared, and after that another, then another. Granny leapt from one to the next, his tiny heart pounding in his chest. Until at long last he leapt from the last lily pad onto the dock where the princess sat. She was delighted to see the little frog, and when she realized that Granny had made the perilous journey across the pond just to be with her, she smiled for the first time since her banishment. So grateful was she for Granny's company that she gave the water fairy a gift, a bright red key, which the water fairy soon put to use. And all three lived happily ever after, with a very vague tale of a red key.
Wasn't that lovely? Make up your own ending is what she did with that key.
And why the frog wanted to be with the princess even though he was not secretly a human. It's like the B-movie but with
I
frogs.
wonder what goes there. Something fits in here, but what?
That magical red key from the fairy.
Apparently it's a round key then?
What's magical? Did we need to get that piece of paper out of the book?
It wouldn't let you.
Oh.
We're calling home.
Hello.
This is the Drew residence. Please leave a message at the beep.
It's Nancy. Just calling to say hi. You don't need to call me back. Bye.
Apparently no one's home.
Dad or else they're asleep and don't want to talk to Nancy.
Hello?
Hi, Ned.
Hey, Nancy.
Just wanted to let you know I got here safely.
So how's Blackmoor Manor?
A little on the spooky side.
And what has Detective Drew discovered so far?
Just calling to say hi. I'll talk to you soon.
I'll be waiting.
I'll be waiting.
Okay, we'll call the other person later because this is boring conversations.
Good for you, Ned. Oh, that's a cool looking room.
Yes, it is. Nancy gets to stay in a lot of cool looking rooms.
Yes, she does. The artwork seems to be a little
Interesting.
yeah. Not
do I have to
cohesive.
learn this?
Yes, I'm afraid you do.
If I do well, can we play a game?
Yes, but only in French.
Oh.
Yes, but in French.
Fine.
I need something else for this.
Apparently you can't have some dark oil.
Stay in Italy as long as you want, then. Some kind of husband you're proving to be. It's not all in my head. Don't bother.
Oh.
Oh, that's a lovely room.
Linda? Hi, it's me, Nancy Drew.
Nancy Drew, our friendly neighborhood detective. Well, welcome to Blackmoor Manor. I apologize for greeting you under such unusual circumstances.
So, how are you feeling?
How am I feeling? Well, I feel like... I feel like something really strange is happening.
Could you be more specific?
Could I be more specific? Ah, the ace detective is grilling me for details.
She's a lot.
I'm tired all the time, my mouth is dry, my vision is blurry. But that's not important. Here's what's important, Nancy.
What's important?
There are some doors that should never be opened. There are some doors that hold secrets which must never be known.
Well, okay, thank you.
That's everything you need to know.
Don't
Now
open doors, Nancy.
Mummy, can I come in?
No, you're supposed to be in your lessons.
Lessons are over. I want to meet Nancy.
I said no, Jane.
Okay.
That was my stepdaughter. She can be such a pest
How
sometimes.
dare she want interaction?
Anyway, I understand you feel an obligation to my mother, but trust me, there's nothing you can do. You're welcome to stay, but I strongly recommend that you go home as soon as possible.
I can't go home empty-handed. It might jeopardize my ace detective status.
That's right, Nancy. You worry about that.
Linda? Okay, I'll let you rest.
Linda, where
But
did she go?
I'll be back.
Linda.
I'm here for you if you need me.
Andre! What happened to Andre? He's with Linda.
We get into a tiff every time we go to Red Lobster. No, I was getting buzzed, so I figured I'd see who was buzzing me. Go out the door, Nancy.
Jeez, Nancy.
Damn.
Is that the parrot? Take the cover off.
I wanted him to see it.
Oh, it's just a parrot. Polly want a cracker?
Not Polly! Lolo! 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 Lolo!
Okay, I get the point.
Atlas
Lulu.
is very disturbed by Lulu.
Lolo! Lolo!
Lolo, 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 Lolo.
Bye, bird.
Don't leave me! I love you! You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Katie and I like screaming some of the things that Lulu says at each other.
Don't leave me, I love you.
He also Lulu also yells, "You're gonna need a bigger boat."
How good are you at giving hints?
Tell your troubles to Lulu.
I could use a hint when it comes to that weird star box that's in my room.
Ding dong, sing along. Receipt's cold, be sure to note. Pretty tune, stars and moon. Favorite night, your delight.
Thanks, Lulu.
Bye, bird.
Bye bye. The time has come for closing.
Bye, Lulu.
Polly is a stupid bird. Polly is a stupid bird.
Come back, I love you.
We get to make food for Lulu too. See, right over here. We're making food for Lulu.
Hi,
First we
you
have to
must
give
be
it to
Nancy.
Child.
I'm so pleased you're here. I'm Jane. I know you've come to visit my stepmom, but I'd love it if you could pop
Jane
by
looks a
whenever you
little
get the chance. Oh, we'll have such fun. Let's play a game.
Yes, she's very disturbing. Her voice actress is an 80-year-old, apparently.
Okay. Hey.
Not right now. Maybe later. I'd like to ask some questions first.
Sure, what do you want to know? About Mummy? I mean, Linda. I do hope you'll help. She's been a bit out of sorts lately.
Do you know why she doesn't want to be seen?
I think maybe it's because of the lady in black. I was playing in Mummy's room when she wasn't there, and when I looked up, there was a lady all dressed in black putting something on Mummy's nightstand.
The woman left something?
The lady put a note on Mummy's nightstand, but I didn't read it. That's when Mummy started feeling poorly. I don't want to think about that. Let's play a game. It will cheer me up.
No.
Not right now, but maybe later.
You can come in anytime you want, even if I'm not here. I've got some really smashing things. I'm so happy you've come, Nancy. I hope you can make Mummy feel better.
Well, isn't that nice? Bye, tiny child.
We're gonna make a cake for Lulu.
I use that to make cakes for Lulu the parrot. That's why the ingredients are so nasty. Like I would eat mealworms.
Mealworms. Ugh. Do you mind if I make something?
Go right ahead.
I feel a little like having some mealworms. Yum, yum, yum. Few mealworms. Some lettuce. Ooh, some blueberries.
And then
What else do we
some...
have? Oh, some crackers, because Polly wants some crackers. Why are we heating it in the microwave?
It's a little easy bake oven.
Why did
It's a cake.
But you didn't put a cake mix in.
It looks like a cake now, doesn't it?
Oh, that's a magical microwave.
It is a toaster oven.
I don't care what it is. It's magical.
Yes.
What happened to the cake?
It's in my inventory now, right
Oh,
here.
okay.
I didn't eat it. Ew.
An introduction to runes. Runes are a set of symbols that come to Britain with the ancient Germanic people who immigrated to the country around 450 AD. They were used throughout Northern Europe during the Dark Ages, which lasted from around 500 AD to 1500 AD, and then they discovered light. Because these symbols are used for writing, among other things, they can be termed an alphabet. The original runic alphabet was made up of 24 symbols, and is known as the Elder Futhhark. The first 6 runes spell out the word Futhhark. The runes were comprised of straight lines so that they could be easily cut into wood or stone. There you go. Now you know all about runes. Well, okay, you know just the beginning of runes. And now I'm waiting for Chelsea to change the thing so that way we can learn something new. Oh, more paper. The Elder Futhark is divided into 3 A-tier or groups of 8. Vrehas Ayat. Yeah, okay. And
We're not going to read
bunch
all
of
the runes.
stuff. Why is Nancy humming?
It's not Nancy, that's
Oh.
Jane.
Oh, each rune not only represents a letter, but an object or being as well. As a result, each rune is associated with specific characteristics or events. For example, 2 little triangles stuck together is called Othala, and not only represents the letter O, it also means ancestral property, which can connote home, everything that is important to someone, security, support, experience, etc. Because each rune has an intrinsic meaning, people in the Dark Ages would sometimes randomly choose a series of runes, i.e., draw them from the bag or cast them on the ground, and try to tell the future from the juxtaposition of their meanings. Oh, they use large words, they have to say there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go.
It's very educational that way.
Thank you. Juxtaposition.
Nigel gave that to me when I was in the library once. I think he was hoping it would scare me, but it didn't. I'm too smart to believe in that sort of stuff.
Monsters, what and why?
Werewolves, Lycanthropy, by Paliki Vadas, University of Manhattan. Since ancient times, the cunning savagery of wolves has both terrified and awed humans with whom they came into contact. In Europe, where wolves were a constant threat to livestock and allegedly to small children and lone travelers, legends as to their evil viciousness became widespread. Predictably, one of these legends involved humans who could transform themselves into wolves. These creatures were called werewolves. Were means man. And the transformation came to be known as lycanthropy. What? The symptoms of lycanthropy. Descriptions of werewolves and of the transformation process itself have varied greatly throughout the ages. Some lycanthropes assumed the precise appearance of a wolf. Others turned into something that was half human, half beast. Sometimes the change was permanent. Sometimes lycanthropes could change form at will. Sometimes environmental factors brought about the transformation. The symptoms and duration of a werewolf's condition depended entirely upon the curse that initiated that particular case of lycanthropy. In general, victims who were destined to alter their form permanently usually appeared pale. Fatigue was a frequent complaint, as well as weak vision, a dry tongue, and constant thirst. These symptoms usually accompanied or were soon followed by hair growth, especially on the face and hands. Fingernails grew long, and the eyes gradually changed shape and color. The victim's personality also changed. He, or she, became increasingly ill-tempered and aggressive. As the transformation grew more apparent, the victim usually went into hiding, returning to society only to satisfy its newfound appetite for human flesh. For temporary victims who could change their appearance at will, or who were involuntarily transformed by the sound of a wolf's nocturnal howl, or by a full moon, lycanthropic symptoms occurred not over time, but quickly, almost instantaneously. They were forced to assume human form again at sunrise, either by shedding their hair, claws, and fangs, or by taking off their skin and hiding it intact. Such a lycanthrope would reportedly suffer the same fate as its shed skin. If it was found and destroyed, the werewolf would likewise be destroyed. According to legend, those who voluntarily became werewolves obtained the ability to change their form through sorcery. Involuntary lycanthropes were people who had been cursed by someone they had wronged, or had been bitten by or born to a werewolf. Since there was no cure, and since most werewolves were thought to be immortal, these unfortunate beings were compelled to lead dark, desperate lives until they were felled by a fatal wound to the brain or heart. That they could only be destroyed by a silver bullet is a modern embellishment. Why? The reasons for lycanthropy. Psychology plays a significant role in lycanthropy. Wanting to imitate, if not actually become, the thing or person that one fears the most seems to be a part of human nature. Far from being a universal phenomenon, werewolves are unknown in regions where there are no wolves. No shit. Instead, people spread tales of were-bears or were-tigers or were-crocodiles, whichever animal is most feared. The old saying, if you can't beat them, join them, goes a long way in explaining the source and longevity of many monster legends. More important, throughout history there have been instances of people who actually were werewolves, in their own minds at least. Convinced that they had been cursed, they presented all the physical symptoms of lycanthropy and often behaved violently. Because they fully believed that they had become werewolves, they acted like werewolves. As a result, the people around them treated them like werewolves, which only reinforced their delusion, thus trapping them in a vicious circle. This psychological disorder was no doubt prevalent in the Middle Ages, when belief in sorcery, curses, and creatures, such as werewolves, was commonplace. The power of suggestion cannot be underestimated, especially in places where education is minimal and superstition passes for truth. Instances of lycanthropic disorder are rare in modern times, although it is possible that many cases go unreported due to misdiagnosis or familial embarrassment. For research psychologists such as myself, information gathering is a never-ending process. If you believe you know someone who has undergone a lycanthropic metamorphosis, please contact me.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Pauliki.
What is this book?
Don't know really. Ethel gave it to me. She said it belonged to my grandfather. Do you think Brady Armstrong is cute?
No, he's kind of a douche.
Okay, lovely pictures here. Your dragon.
Each of those cups seems to be associated with a Roman numeral.
Look at that. And symbols.
We'll need them
Okay.
eventually, but I don't remember exactly.
Who's this?
That's my mum, my real mum. She's an opera singer. It's not like she's famous or anything, but she does live in Paris.
It's my mom, my real mom. She doesn't want anything to do with me because she is busy doing other things.
Come on now, Mom, don't bring up
That
childhood
was
trauma
written by
like that.
Charles Penvillin way back in like the 1500s. When I read it, it seemed really familiar, you know?
No, I don't know. As the moon rises upon thee, fear not, but draw upon the strength of absent friends, and toast to the memories in happiness and wonder, with the stalwart heart of a knight, that charity be thy guiding angel. Stay firm in knowledge, as a dedicated geometer, and fear not the ravages of Father Time. For, dear child, as you learn the lessons of folly, the secrets of this world shall dawn in thy soul. That was charming.
Oh, you startled me. You must be Nancy.
Yeah, I startled you.
Hello, Ethel. Jane is very excited you're visiting. You're all she's talked about for the past week.
Are you jealous?
And I'm so tired of it.
She's obviously a very intelligent young woman. Yes, well. I'm sorry, but I'm in a bit of a rush. I need to go over some things with Jane. Oh, I guess I'll be going then.
It
was a pleasure meeting you, Nancy. I'll pass you across again, I'm sure.
That was awkward.
Awkward. Ooh, look, it's Polly.
Boo boo.
There goes my cell phone. Hello?
Hi, Nancy. It's Mrs. Petroff. How is everything? Have you seen Linda yet?
Literally speaking, no, but I did talk to her. Not that she told me anything.
I'm just about at my wit's end. I've never known her to act like this. The last doctor that examined her said that aside from a little dry skin, which is not unusual for her, she was perfectly fine.
Why is she hiding behind that curtain?
I have no idea. When I was out there last week, I got fed up and pulled the curtain back. She threw a fit, but otherwise she looked absolutely normal. A little pale, perhaps, but who wouldn't be pale, cooped up like that? Something has changed her. Something in that house. Hugh is just as bewildered and upset by her behavior as I am. Please get to the bottom of this, Nancy. You're our last hope.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Where is Hugh?
He was called to Rome. As a diplomat, he's always being called out of the country without warning and without any say in the matter. He'd much rather be there with Linda, although
what?
it's just that Hugh said it hasn't been very easy for him to talk to her lately. Whenever he calls, which is at least once a day, Linda always seems to fly off the handle for no reason, which doesn't make sense. Linda has always been extremely level-headed and even-tempered. She never gets angry. At least she didn't used to.
Who exactly is Mrs. Drake?
She's Hugh's aunt. She's taken care of Blackmoor Manor ever since her brother died. He was Hugh's father. She's a bit of a character.
I noticed.
The way she spends all her time in that conservatory, slouching around, trowel in hand, murmuring to herself. You'd think she was burying something. Or somebody.
Goodbye, Mrs. Petroff.
Goodbye, Nancy.
The dead bodies.
Oh, one more thing. My niece is on call and her husband's out of town, and I told her I'd go over there and babysit if she had to work. So if you call and I don't answer, that's fine. Bye.
Bye. And we'll end the first video there.